movement, Power 75, the 7 sales skills, and then platforms. Right? So your movement is the most important. That's why it's at the top, but it's little, right? It's just one word, it's just one thing, right? And then the most important thing after that would be your Power 75, right? That's a little bit more comprehensive.
Recording in progress.
Oh, there was a recording. And then I just jumped right in. And then we have our 7 sales skills, right? That's a little bit more broad. You'll have a lot more of those. And then obviously like the platforms that you decide to be on. Our little marketing pyramid. Give y'all a second to write it down. I'll say it again for virtual. Movement, Power 75, 7 sales skills, and then platforms. Movement, Power 75, 7 sales skills, platforms. Our marketing pyramid. Is it the R first or the Y? An A. Pyramid. 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 But it's pyramid. Well, did you say English? Jasmine makes fun of me. She's like, I know multiple languages, and you just know English, and you barely know that. Okay. I just wanted to close that loop for anybody. I hate when somebody starts something then they don't finish. So I was like, I was up at like 1 a.m. I was like, I didn't finish the pyramid. So I just wanted to finish that for you. Okay. How is everyone feeling? I intentionally chose launching for the morning because I want our brains to be fresh. I want us all well rested. I didn't want y'all to be like, what? I don't know what to do. So I wanted y'all to be well rested. So I'm so excited. Let's do some sharing really quick. Takeaways from yesterday. Takeaways. Let's do 2 from each table. Y'all think about it for a second. Then I'll call on table 4 to start. Oh, no. All right, go ahead, table 4.
This is Kirsten. My biggest takeaways were on the sales and coaching relationship and making sure that you're answering objections and circumstances for the client and what they actually want, not what you think they need. Mm-hmm. And then also it was the 5 unique stories, how to know if your story is actually good by literally doing like, is your client actually going through that? That's the story you need to lean into. That like helps so much.
Yes. I know you were working a lot on like your frameworks and everything. Why don't you, as an example for frameworks, why don't you share some of your, okay.
I'm so excited. So I've been really...
Okay, so hold on. Give context. What's the offer?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the offer
Give your Power 75, then give your frameworks. Okay.
So my Power 75, so I have a team systems and mindset program called $1 Million CEO. And my Power 75, my person is 6-figure coaches and agency owners. My outcome is out of operations and delivery. They'll be completely out of operations and delivery in their business. My winning skill is team systems and mindset, but leading with team. My exceptional angles, I have a few, but basically like if it's not a vacation, if you take your laptop, if you're jumping in on tasks, you have a team and systems problem, etc. And then my result is going to be release 20 hours a week from your schedule. So by hiring and delegating. So I have been struggling with I have a lot of like opinions and frameworks and philosophies, but not necessarily frameworks for my clients to like latch onto. And so I created some based on what they actually want.
Wow.
I have clients in the room that are like, thank you. So one of them, my clients really want a self-managing team, and they want no client complaints. Like if they have a co-coach, they don't want their clients to complain about their co-coaches. So I made a no client complaints checklist. And then Another one, they really want the team to deliver as good as they can. So I'm creating a just like you reel or wheel, just like you wheel, so that they can like basically teach their team how to be just like them. And then I know I'm like, oh my goodness, this is, yeah. And then my client and relationship, I'm like, that's impossible, right? Not really, but like usually it's a mindset thing, but they want their team to make no mistakes, like none at all. And I was like, okay, if I'm following their brain, then they're gonna have a no mistakes checklist. And I'm gonna teach them how to teach their team to have no mistakes. And then from there, as they're working on it, if I have to coach their mindset, fine, but at least I have something for the sales relationship. And so the last one was someone to help with sales. Like they want their team to help them with sales. So I created a 10-minute sales delegation document so that they can delegate their launches, their content, and their funnels. And it's not, so.
I wanted to give that example too, because if y'all are like, what's a concept? What's a framework? I thought like, Kirsten like retooling her messaging with Power 75, then creating concepts that match it, right? That she can sell. Like those things will look great on a sales page, right? Someone could be like, oh, I want to learn the wheel. I want to get the checklist, right? Those things will look great on a sales page, right? Do y'all see how it's coming together? Yes, y'all see how it's coming together? Yes. And how it takes creativity, right? That's why I was like, you all need to be creative. You all need to be thinking about what do your clients want. And she was saying like her main philosophy is like your team will make mistakes, right? Like, but instead of saying that in the selling relationship, she's like, okay, I'm going to give them a checklist, and then if I have to coach them when the team does make mistakes, that's okay. Do you see the difference? Yeah, so I all the work that she did, I thought was a really good example. Okay, I don't know what table this is. 3. Who wants to share? Share a takeaway. Any takeaway. It doesn't have to be about that. Any takeaway.
Mine was I really need to start infusing more of what got me results and the thing that I really am truly passionate about into my programs, and kind of reworking my results and my outcome and not playing it so safe and not being basic. Yeah, that was it. Because I'm not basic.
Anything but. Okay.
Safia.
It works now. Okay.
Okay, this one seems good. Hi, it's Brooke. The movement piece that we talked about yesterday, I feel like I've been like coasting on that. I'm like, I know my movement. It's not starving artists. I don't need a word. But when I sat with deciding on a word, I came up with autonomy. And that, like the clarity that I've gotten, like artistic autonomy, relational autonomy, you don't have any rules, do what the fuck you want with your money, no budgets, like everything has clicked in. And now like all these new frameworks are coming into my brain. So many ideas came from like deciding on just that one word when I was afraid to clock one because I thought it would shut me off.
So good. Yay. Yay. Awesome. 1. Y'all both can go. You both can go. And then we'll go to virtual. So virtual, y'all decide who wants to share.
Hi, my name is Richa. So I think my biggest breakthrough came by talking with Kwavi. And I ruminated on it yesterday night, tiny bit, but more this morning. And I think my biggest breakthrough is that I'm meant for bigger things. People will get upset, and that's okay.
So good.
Hi, I'm Kwavi. So for me, it was a 75% lead generation, 25% creating content. And it applies to me in the sense that I'm not here to inspire, I'm here to help you transform.
Yes. So good. Okay, someone from virtual. Amber, do you have a virtual person you want to choose one?
Nikki had something to share.
Okay, Nikki. Go ahead, Nikki.
An objection is just a question. So we just have to answer the question.
Good. Love it. Awesome. Okay. What I typically do is but I'll let you all decide. Do you all want me to jump into teaching? And I know what y'all are gonna say. Y'all want me to talk about launching. I was gonna say, did y'all want to review an email and get some peer feedback on email? Y'all want me to talk about launching? That's what I thought. Okay. I'll say this. For tomorrow, even though you all have your own individual projects, and we'll talk about that at the end. We'll talk about that at the end of the day. Still, everyone just make sure you bring at least your 3 emails because we're going to do some peer review. So make sure you bring your 3 emails. I know some of y'all have 7. The minimum was 3. But we're going to do some peer review. Okay. This is the thing I need. Okay, I had this as a review, but I think a lot of you all already got it down, the income framework. So I'm gonna just see, this is what I was saying to do the reviews, but it's okay. Launching. I'm curious, before we go forward. Thoughts about launching, questions about launching. I want to make sure I cover everything, and I can talk anecdotally. So anything, just shout it out at me, and I'll put it in the mic. Okay. Complete over your goal. Okay. All right. Fake successful launches. Have you had issues with that? Okay. Why? Why? Not loving live launching. Why?
Historically, I haven't found it to be producing the biggest results for me. Maybe I haven't done a Dielle launch. And just the energy that it takes from me.
If you're not hitting your goal, it's a messaging issue. It's not a mechanic issue. It's like your offer is not desirable to your client if you're not hitting your goal. Yeah. And especially if you're talking about like basic, right? And I've seen a little bit of your stuff. If you're, especially as a business coach, if your offer is not unique, no one is buying it. No one's going to buy it, especially in a launch where they have to make a decision fast.
I feel like for my conversions, when I get when people actually convert, it's like when they connect with me and they talk with me.
Yeah.
As opposed to, you're right, the messaging.
The messaging where they don't have that connection to you, right? They have to just see your stuff, and your offer alone has to be amazing. Yeah.
Running out of sales space in a launch, selling space. Like you're sending 10 emails a day, you're doing all the stories, you're doing all the
because the
things.
emails aren't good. Who else?
I think on the flip side of not loving launching,
This is Steph. Loving launching too much. So just kind of like defaulting to launching because you think you know how to launch instead of fixing other problems.
That's good. I'm glad you brought that up.
Troubleshooting mid-launch and like getting the energy to troubleshoot mid-launch.
Okay.
How to stick with launching even though you're not getting your messaging right, knowing that you're going to continue to find it and like just staying with it, launch after launch.
Okay. Give me 3 more. Go ahead, Annalise.
Staying engaged in the launch, even if everything is scheduled and done.
You should be writing more emails and going live, and you should still be working even though stuff is sending out. And if it's not converting, you need to be working more.
Launches take too long to master, or like just when you feel like you mastered it, something comes up, and then you gotta retool, redo things all over again.
Asia.
like they kind of got it. They kind of got
They
it.
got it?
They got it. Well, it's not getting discouraged and running out of steam, which is kind of what you said. Yeah,
Right.
just not getting discouraged, like being like go 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 at the beginning, and then it's not happening as fast as.
Okay. We have a virtual.
We have how to launch to a waitlist early and still offer bonuses to everyone.
Who's saying that for context? Who's
Nikki.
Nikki? Okay.
And Shanavia asked, avoiding launches when your one-on-one is booked out.
Avoiding launching?
Yes.
Shanavia, can you tell me more? Can you give me more context?
Yes, I guess it's more so a question like, is it necessary to launch? Yeah, if
Okay.
you have one-on-ones booked out.
Okay. The answer is no. You don't have to.
Okay.
You could keep like raising your prices, getting more clients, re-signing. Yeah, you could keep doing that. Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
Not
Bianca.
extending your launches.
Yeah, just like hitting your goal in the time frame that you said you were going to hit it.
Okay. Okay, a few more that I gotta teach.
I have a really specific technical one.
Yeah.
Can you talk to us about if you have a launch that involves a small offer that then involves a large offer?
Don't do it.
Really? Because I just
No.
had my highest conversions, and I'm just wondering if that's like a thing, or was that a
What was the
fluke?
price of the low ticket offer?
Oh, it was only $197.
And then what was the price of the bigger offer?
$3,500.
No, you can sell a $3,500 offer, but no
With
low
no-
ticket. Yeah. Whatever
Okay.
that low ticket was, make that your webinar for free.
Well, it was a 5-day series. I just made them pay for it because I wanted it to be my best clients, not the 1,000 that, register for the webinars. and
I
don't
like
do
that
anything.
I like that it's the this is really good. I don't believe in like trip funnels or like having a low ticket, a high ticket, because even if not everybody converts from that experience, they're going to convert in the next launch. So many people are like, I don't want my training, or I don't want my webinar, or I don't want my challenge full of, like, for lack of a better word, deadbeat leads, right, that are not going to buy. But if they don't buy in one webinar, they'll buy in the next one. So it's a brand awareness thing. It's a program awareness thing. So I want as many people to come to my webinars, even if they don't buy in that specific webinar, because they might buy on the third webinar, and at least my program is planted in their brain. I don't want to create any barriers to that. Does that make sense?
It does. It does.
Okay, so I'm gonna keep going. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Sorry, can I, Dielle, I have a comment on what she said. That
Sure,
may be
go ahead, go
helpful,
ahead.
because you were saying about tripwire funnels.
Yeah.
One of the things that we are doing is the webinar is free, but then we have just a cart upsell. So if you wanted something to subsidize or to be able to suss out who those people who are ready to buy straight away, you may consider doing that, or even an order bump. Yeah, you could do a VIP. You could have them pay for their recordings. You could do a PDF. There's so many things that you could do to help. If you're doing I'm not sure if you're doing ads to sub. Okay, but you still, that's a way to determine who are people who are ready to spend a little money straight away, and you could even segment your list, right, between people who are buyers and people who are not buyers. Okay. So I don't know. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna start teaching. No, I'm not. I'm not going to start teaching yet. Okay, now I'm going to start teaching. All right, these are text heavy, so bear with me. So, if you're under $1 million, you should not be 100% evergreen. If you're under $1 million, you should not be evergreen. What evergreen means is your program is open all the time. It's always available. People can buy it at any time, right? Front-facing evergreen. You're going to hear me saying front-facing evergreen. So, do you all know Stacey Bayman, right? How she has 2K for 2K. Front-facing, she's selling that evergreen, meaning her audience knows that they can buy it at any time. We do not want that if you're under $1 million. We always want people to know, hey, the doors are closed right now, and then the doors are open during the launches, and then they close back again. So it's so important. If you're under $1 million, you should not be 100% evergreen, even for a membership. Even for a membership. You should be launching. So launching is a very, very important skill to learn. You should be open cart, closed cart, launching. You should be launching. If you have one group offer, you're going to launch it 3 times a year. If you have 2 groups, you're going to do 3 for your foundational, 2 for your advanced. We covered that yesterday. You do not, we were talking about this already, you do not need a separate freebie or low ticket in order to hit your launch goals. For those who are having it, you can have, and if it's working, like you could keep doing it. But if you were to test without it, you would probably get the same results. You would make the same amount of money, right, if you were to test without it. So I just think it's interesting. I would try a launch without any low ticket freebie thing to see if you just get the same conversions. You likely will. So I sell a $5,000 offer to beginners with no sales calls and no tripwire. Like I'm like a launching miracle. Like every time Claire Pels, who's, you all know Claire Pels, right? She's always like, I never seen that before. Like she's always like so baffled, right, by that. And it's just because I have the thought, I'm like, they don't need that. they don't need it. They don't need it to buy, right? Like it's $5,000. The value is insane. Like they don't need, to hop here and then hop there and then hop there. So if you have that model where you are doing a tripwire, test without it just to see what happens. And again, I want as many people as possible to hear my webinar. Right? There are so many people, especially if you have I'm going to this is going to be heavy on the strategy, y'all. But especially if you have a foundational offer, right? The sales cycle, meaning how long it takes people to buy, sometimes it takes me about 2 years to convert a client. That can be long, right? But it's because they heard that first webinar 2 years ago and I didn't gatekeep it. Does that make sense? Right? And so I just had as many people listening to my webinars as possible because I want to plant my program in their head. I want to plant my program in their head. That's the goal, right? That's the goal. How you act in the planning process of your launch will dictate how you act in the launch. So if you're spinning out, if you're scared, if you're stressed out, if you're in a lot of scarcity with money, before the launch starts, that's how you're going to act in the launch. Right? So that's super, super important to know. I had this one client last round. She was spinning out the entire, during her Disney World, just spinning out. And then when the cart opened, she was like, I feel terrible. And I was like, I knew you would. Right? And so it's so important to think about who do you want to be when you're planning the launch and putting it together, because that will help you when you're in the launch. It's kind of like you're creating that nervous system foundation for yourself in the planning process. So then if something goes wrong in the launch, you're not spinning out, right? You've already built that nervous system foundation. So that's super important to realize as well. Don't launch with a ton of money insecurity. It's very hard for us to coach you. Those are totally my thoughts, but it's very hard for us to coach you. I'm being so honest with you, right? I have helped so many people with their launches. I've seen it all. Really, I have. When a client is in a lot of money scarcity, especially when they didn't want to do one-on-one coaching and they thought the launch was going to give them their silver, all of their money, it's very, very hard to coach you, right? So if I'm saying that, trust me, right? It's going to be hard to coach you. Get money in another way. That's why I tell you all, have one-on-one clients, have money coming in, have 6 months in the bank before you launch. You will launch from a completely different space. You just will. Launching will not fix your money problems. Oftentimes, it might exacerbate them, right? And so if you don't have any money, do not do a launch. Do one-on-one coaching. Sign a client in a week instead of waiting for Disney World and then your launch to open. I cannot stress that enough. Can't stress it enough. Launching requires undergoaling. Does everyone know about undergoaling? I can explain. Undergoaling is one of the best concepts I've ever created, in my opinion. It's one of my favorite concepts. I have a podcast on it. Listen to it during lunch if you want to. Undergoaling is basically where you choose a lower goal, right? You choose a lower goal and you choose a goal that you've already done before. So say your past launch, you got 10 people, but in your heart, you want 30, right? In your heart, you want 30. Choose your under goal as 10 though, right? So you intentionally will under goal and choose 10, and then you want to make sure you hit that goal. And the science or the thinking behind that is when you're under goaling, you actually believe that you can hit your goal. So you show up a lot more confidently. You show up a lot more assured. You run your numbers and your finances with that goal that you've already done. You're a lot more confident. And then when you truly under goal, you often do more, right? So my under goal was 40 and I got 50. For Liberation, my under goal was 30, I got 37, right? So when you under goal, you typically do more than your under goal and you feel incredible. And what I saw was people were having these astronomical goals, right? I want a 100K launch if they never launched before. Or, I want to double my launch conversions when they struggled in their past launch. And so they would go into the launch with all this expectancy and all these jitters and all this pressure. I'm like, that shouldn't have been your goal. Your goal should have just been what you did before, right? And if so many people, they're like, DL, I don't like my under goal. Like, I want my under goal to be higher. I'm like, well, then you have to do more than your under goal. Does that make sense? Right? Like, if they're like, well, I want my under goal to be 50. I'm like, well, then you need to do 50, right? Like, then that needs to be your under goal. So you would set it at 20, and then whatever you do more will be your new under goal. Does that make sense? Yeah, so undergoaling is huge. We're going to coach you on your undergoals. If we're going to ask you, what did you do in your past launch? We will ask you that. Whatever you did in your past launch will be your undergoal. Questions on undergoaling? Kimmy?
Okay, I got some peer coaching here that my undergoal was like a fake undergoal.
Okay.
And that I need to actually raise it. So
okay.
I did. Oh. Do you need a mic? Do you need a mic, Kina? Okay. Okay.
Kina's like, I'm trying to cover my
So I did 120, 120, 140. My undergoal was 120.
140.
Oh.
Look at her face. It'll be 140. It'll be 140. Oh, you'll be all right.
Can you help me?
We were talking at dinner, and Kimmy was talking about, and I don't know how you want to look at it, if you want to look at it from like the revenue side of it or the client side, but she was mentioning that she continually signs 6 people, but her real goal is 10. And so we were talking to her about what happens when you get to 6, like what do you start thinking? And so she also had mentioned that she has some thoughts about the people that aren't buying, but we were also, I feel like within this conversation saying like, you could pull in whoever you desire, but there's some thinking that's keeping you from getting to the 10. So that's why I told her under goal was fake.
The 120 was fake.
Not the 120, but when she was talking about the 6 people, because she's consistently done 6 people for like the last year.
I see. Okay.
So, but she has a secret goal, I feel like, of getting 10.
Right.
But it's like, how is she problem solving?
I close
for
the
it?
door at 6, like energetically, like the door closes at 6. I'm like, oh, well, nobody else is buying.
Let's come back. I have
Okay.
lots of thoughts. Hopefully
Okay.
we'll cover them.
Okay.
Let's come back.
Thank you.
Yeah. Remind me if I don't.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, it's still on. Okay. It's Rachel. I would love to get a little feedback on my launch goal. So I had my first launch, and we did 100K. And the price was $1,000, plus I have a payment plan as an option. And I'm raising the price. So I'm actually going to double the price. So it's going to be $2,000, or there'll be a payment plan as well. So I was thinking to keep the number the same.
It'll be 100 with less people. 100K with less people.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, so, all right, this is going to be hard for me.
Yeah.
I'm like, because I set my goal at 180. So that's
No. We're going to under goal.
Okay.
We're going to under goal.
So like basically, just to make sure I'm clear, because this is the opposite of what I have normally done, which is probably why I'm stressed in launches.
Yeah.
So my under goal is 100, period.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a stretch goal. There's none of
There's
that.
not- if-
It's just like this
when
is my
you,
goal.
When you
I guess it's hard
undergo
for me.
when you undergo correctly, you will blow your mind.
Okay,
Because
so
you will feel so confident. You'll be celebrating mid-launch. You'll be so excited. That energy, you're going to double it. But you have to sell yourself on your under goal.
Right.
And the mindset behind it, too, is so many times we're striving. So many times we're putting so much pressure on our nervous systems, and we have these high expectations of ourselves, and it's like, where can we celebrate the small steps? And when you're celebrating the small steps, you blow your mind. You always do more than that.